Beat up, bullied, and dunked on. Beat up, bullied, and dunked on.
We only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas. Lest you get beat up, bullied, and dunked on. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied, and dunked on. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score March Madness Live Special. I'm your host, Noah Berkowitz. This is the first time in show history we'll be doing a live special, and how sweet it is. An hour of the most ambitious show the Box Score has ever done. We'll be breaking down each region of the bracket, talking about a few potential Cinderellas, and reminiscing over some of our favorite March memories. Get ready for a little bit of madness, because this is the Box Score. Getting started, we're going to talk about some of the games in the East region of the bracket. Evan, let's get started off with the 8-9 matchup between Mississippi State and Baylor.
All right, I had a lot of trouble with this one. Lots of time I've spent looking through all these numbers, looking through the team's resumes, all this stuff. Yeah. Mississippi State, it's going to be going through Chris Hubbard. And he's their best guard, averaging.
He's really the only one who can score in that team.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Mississippi State's problem is they're really inefficient. Now, Baylor's not a lot more efficient.
But they're more efficient.
They are more efficient.
Much more.
They are, and that's really, to me, the difference here. I think it should be a close game. Mississippi State and Baylor both played a really tough schedule. Yeah. However, I'm going to lean Baylor here. I think that Norchad Omier is going to have an easier time than Chris Hubbard will, especially if it gets down to low field goal percentages. I like Baylor's team play a little more.
Sure. Baylor hasn't been knocked out in the first round in the past 5 tournaments, I believe. But if Mississippi State starts knocking down shots, it'll be a tough game for both teams.
Absolutely.
But I will say, I do think Baylor's a pretty strong 9 seed, though. Like, this is kind of and I honestly, I think they'll take care of business here. I think honestly, because I'm gonna go out there and just say it's gonna be them and Duke in the second round. I think they could give Duke a hard time. Honestly, I think they're a gritty team. I could see it. I think Duke will still get the job done.
Yeah, I think Duke wins that, but I think Baylor can contend. I like Scott Drew. He's an experienced coach. Championship. I think they get it done against Mississippi State, but I do think it's close. I value the experience and the efficiency.
Absolutely. Baylor also really plays a lot of tough games.
Yeah, I was about to say physical brand of basketball.
I would say, though, but I think Baylor has a strong shooting game against Mississippi. That's the one thing. So.
I worry about the Mississippi State perimeter D a little bit.
Yes.
The entire offense of Mississippi State going to run through Chris Hubbard. If he's not knocking down shots, I think Baylor just pounds the rock into the paint.
One last major thing. 11th offensive rebounding for Baylor in the entire tournament, 30th for Mississippi. Mississippi State.
Could be the edge there. So I think consensus, we're saying Baylor moves on to play Duke. All right.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I would say so.
All right, I want to move down the bracket. We're going to talk Oregon Liberty.
Oh, boy.
I'm getting sketchy. Why is it sketchy?
I think it's mainly because I think just Oregon themselves, like I want to trust them, but I can't trust them. I think they've had some like they've had some really impressive home wins. You know, they had some some really tough games they've won out there.
Especially early in the year.
Oregon, they have size and length. That's the one thing.
They beat Wisconsin. They beat Texas A&M.
That's
true. And Oregon's had some questionable home losses too.
Yes.
And so it's like which Oregon team is going to come out.
And I have to say that Liberty, out of any team in the tournament, any double-digit seed, has exactly the makings of what a Cinderella team needs, which is they play fast and they
score a lot.
Liberty plays fast. Oregon plays at a moderate pace. What I mean by that is they have a 60 to 70 shots per game. Liberty can win either game. Oregon usually does not play well when they're sped up. Liberty is going to try and do that. Also, Liberty plays really good defense, and they shoot the 3 really well. Oregon is above average in pretty much every category, but they don't really excel at anything. That's what scares me about them. However, they have been really hot, and this is one of the games I picked Liberty here. However, if Oregon wins this game,
they can go on a little run.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
I get excited about the proposition of a Liberty-Akron matchup. Everyone counting out Akron against Arizona because Arizona looks so good. Akron is another team that shoots the ball electric. Liberty-Akron is a 13-12 could be really fun. I want to move down, though, to BYU-VCU in the 11-6 matchup. That's another real toss-up. I mean, both of these teams realistically could have been seeded higher or lower. This was such a toss-up of a seeding in the East region. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about BYU VCU.
I think I really like the look of VCU in this. I think they have real. I think they have Elite Eight potential here.
Wow.
I think so because look, I'm gonna tell you. Look,
VCU Elite Eight
because
potential.
I'll
But
tell
they
you
have a
what.
balanced offense.
They have a balanced offense.
They're slow.
They're top three. They're slow, but
and they're
I'll
small.
tell you what. They have 3 quad 1 wins this year. Their top 3 top scorers from last season are returning. They have a really good mix
Yeah.
of like
They are
physicality and
experienced.
consistency and continuity. You don't get a lot of continuity in today's March Madness era, so I think that's gonna.
But BYU, you have plenty of it. After Mark
Right.
Pope leaves for Kentucky, BYU picks up where they left off. They're shooting
true.
threes at an elite rate right now. They are 9th in the entire NCAA tournament in offensive true shooting percentage, which rates field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throws. And VCU is nowhere near that.
Right, but
really quickly.
I
like
has
VCU.
Before,
top
listen,
offensive
I want to
rebound.
keep talking really quickly. I want to make sure we have time to hit on the St. Mary's Vanderbilt game because I think that'll be a real tough one.
Yeah,
Right.
That'll be a real.
Yeah. What are we thinking about here? Who do you think is moving on?
I like St. Mary's.
I go
St. Mary's let me down
I
last
don't,
year.
I think
don't
it's close.
like. I
You
don't like.
disagree.
I don't
I'm
like St. Mary's, honestly. I think
never do.
I don't like St. Mary's for the same reasons I was talking about last year when I had them upset by Grand
Yes.
Canyon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think it's kind of the same thing you talk about with VCU. Is I just think they're a solid squad, but I think they're a very
They're
they
not
take their
just
own
solid.
time.
Yeah.
I just
They control games and they dominate the rebounding game. They're second in
Yeah,
the
they have
entire
a huge
NCAA
rebound.
Yeah,
in total
yeah.
rebound percentage. Over 55% of the time when there's a loose ball, they come up with it. And guess who's not close? Vanderbilt. They're in the bottom half. And Vanderbilt's an inconsistent offensive team.
Yeah, but you know
St.
what?
Mary's is very consistent. Vanderbilt doesn't.
And I
Right.
think
Vanderbilt
they
played
get the
such
job
an-
done.
If
played
Vanderbilt
after
plays
that.
a
Right.
great game,
Yes, but they don't hit the three. And to beat a team that's going to play slow and shoot 2-pointers, you need to hit the three.
Vanderbilt can win. I don't know if they
I
will.
think St. Mary's gets the job done first round. They go against say Bama next round. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Bama's one of the tourney favorites.
They get past the first round and then they're
That's
done.
it, yeah.
Again, and just quickly going back to the BYU VCU game before we wrap this segment up, I think regardless of what happens between those two teams, neither of them want to end up playing Wisconsin.
I disagree. I take BYU over Wisconsin.
I agree.
Really?
I would
totally
take
disagree.
BYU over Wisconsin.
I think Wisconsin's
BYU's
one of the
so
most
hot. They just ran the
Yeah,
Big
they
12
are.
tournament.
Wisconsin is absolutely one of the hottest teams in
BYU does
most
exactly-
well-rounded teams in college.
They
basketball
are,
right now.
but BYU is Wisconsin with better rebounding. Their
Yeah.
three-point shooting is
They're
very
pretty
similar.
similar.
They are.
All right, listen,
Yeah.
we're going to get back to more bracket stuff after this. We're going to come back in a bit. But right now, we're going to talk about a few of the teams that can make an unexpected deep run in the tourney. The ever-anticipated bracket buster. Cinderella sleeper, whatever you want to call it. Cam, Nandan, and I will join you in just a second. But get us started. Who do you think is poised to make an unexpected deep run?
Well, Noah, I love an underdog, but today, I don't want no puppy. I want a big dog. And that big dog is the Gonzaga Bulldogs. I know what you may be thinking, and I know, Nandan, you're going to fight me on this. How are they underdogs? I think based on they've gone on a bit of runs for the past couple of years. They've been a very good team, and now that they've taken a step down, I consider them underdogs the same way I would consider maybe UConn underdogs, but Gonzaga a bit more. I like them a lot. This is a really strong team. They have a lot of depth. They're very well-rounded. Number 13 over here, Graham Ike, he leads the team in points per game, rebounds, and blocks. He plays as a forward and a center. He's very versatile in that way. And then we have Ryan Nembhard, who leads the team in assists and steals. They're third overall in points per game, second in assists per game. They're very much a team, and I think that's what's going to carry them over Georgia in this first round. And I even have them going over Houston in the second round.
See, I agree with you there. I think the toughest game for the Zags is going to be that opening matchup against
I agree.
Georgia. It's going to be a physical one. It's going to be hard in the paint.
Yeah.
I think the Zags are an underrated team who have had their inconsistencies as of late, as have many of the Blue Bloods like Kansas.
Yeah.
But I don't hate the Zags pick here.
No.
They have-
Especially to
I-
go to the Sweet 16.
I also think
Yeah.
they have something to prove because going into the WCC championship, everyone was like, oh my God, St. Mary's going to do the triple over Gonzaga, blah, blah, blah. And they had a bit of a statement win, 58-51. They outshot them. They never were,
Yeah.
they were always in the lead. I feel like they got it more.
And you know, on
Yeah.
top of that, this would be the Zags' 10th straight
It would be.
Sweet 16
Exactly.
appearance. And I'm going to bet on the team that's made
Yeah.
9.
I
All
can't
right,
disagree.
you've got your own
I do.
Cinderella story.
I see. I have a real Cinderella here. No disrespect, Cam.
Okay.
I'm going with the real Bulldogs. I'm going with Drake. And no, I'm not talking Aubrey Graham. I'm talking about the 11 seed Bulldogs. I love this team. Their whole team, it's a really great story this year. Going into the offseason, their whole team just imploded. Everyone left. Their coach left. They brought in D2 coach Dan McCollum.
What a great story.
Great story. Revolutionized this team. He's brought in a bunch of D2 transfers. 6'4" guard Bennett Sturz has been averaging 19 points per game. He's been, I think, shooting over 40% from three. This Drake team is really solid. They're a very difficult team to guard. They're not afraid of anyone. And say what you want about, they're a D2 team, the cupcake schedule. I got to tell you, cupcake, headache, Katie's hairline is fake. Bulldogs in 5. That's all I gotta say.
Bulldogs in 5. Well, they're gonna have to play pretty well to beat Mizzou. But you know what Mizzou is great at? Mizzou's great at football.
Yeah.
And you know what Drake is good at? Basketball. Drake's good at basketball, and Drake is good at puns for you. But Cam, Nandan, we'll find out soon if your picks make an impact. Count on both of you because I've got both going farther in the tournament than others. But we're gonna head to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna give you a live update on the first 4 and break down the Midwest region. Stick with us.
And when I arrive at my destination, I am gonna kill Bill.
What? Oh, okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of this?
Where in God's name is the gaffer's tape?
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops, or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
So yeah, it's like Emerson's very own late night talk show. We've got games like Jimmy Fallon, and we're hot like Jimmy Kimmel, and we've got guests. I'm gonna talk to them. You can talk too, I guess. There's a live studio audience, and they're just gonna laugh at everything we say, and it's gonna be awesome. It's just this never-ending cycle of positivity and community and late night content. I'm gonna wear a suit. You should probably wear one too. What do you think?
I think you should drink up, because it's closing time.
All right, coming back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera 1. Camera 1, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take. Talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera 2, close on the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big
Camera 1, get a close up, follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
Welcome back to the Box Score March Madness Live Special. We're going to give you a quick live score update. We've got a 60-59 matchup between these two 16 seeds vying for a spot in the NCAA tournament. Less than 5 minutes left to go, but we're going to head right back to bracketology to look at some of these matchups. Evan and I are some of the Midwest matchups, rather. This game feels like it's going to be a big one. We're going to start with the Zags here at the top of the bracket, the 9-8 game between the Zags and Georgia. Obviously, me and Cam just talked about it.
Yeah.
Tell me, Evan, what do you think? Who do you think is coming out of this?
Georgia's a lot better.
Georgia's
significant.
So you're gonna tell Cam that her Cinderella story.
Or sorry, did I say Georgia's a lot better?
Yes.
I totally. No. Gonzaga's a lot better. Georgia's not even close to Gonzaga. Gonzaga and Louisville are the two most underseeded teams in the entire tournament.
Yes. I fully agree.
They could both be 3
And
seeds.
this is the first time in a couple of years Gonzaga's really been a team you can pick as a Cinderella. I think they're going to thrive off being overlooked.
Yeah.
I think they can make a run.
normally they're overlooked in the other way where they're a 1 seed, but people feel, oh, they're not they're not a deserving 1 seed.
Now people are
they're
like,
gonna do
do they
it.
even
They're
make
gonna
the
do it.
15? I think they do.
I think you can also put them one step forward against Houston.
Really?
That's what I'm gonna say.
I think it's close.
So the thing I'll say for Houston, it's going to be injuries that come down to it, I think.
I don't know if Gonzaga, despite being 3rd in the country or 2nd in the country in points per game, they play really efficiently. They pass the ball really well.
They get to the line.
They do, but Houston, I don't know if they can score that much against Houston. I don't know if the talent is at the same level right now.
But we're under the impression that
I agree. It's really close.
We're saying that the Zags beat Georgia.
Yes.
I think so.
I think we all agree on that.
I agree
Georgia's too inefficient.
Yeah,
Now,
it doesn't work.
I'm going to go with another one that I think we're all going to agree about, but maybe we'll have some outliers. Clemson McNeese, the 5-12. I bought into the McNeese hype last year. It really
People
did me
buy
dirty.
into it every year.
This is such a
McNeese is an
trap
upset
upset
pick.
game.
I think this is another year Clemson's better. They're gonna-
Clemson is having a
Clemson's
really,
another
really
team that
good
realistically
year.
could be underseeded.
I think I have them as potential to make a pretty deep run. I could see them honestly.
They beat Duke. They beat Kentucky. They beat a lot of good teams.
Yeah.
Well, they play in a really tough ACC. They played really well down the stretch. Clemson's one of the better rebounding teams overall in the entire country. They play strong defense, hold their opponents to low shooting percentages. McNeese is another one of those 3-and-D teams, but they don't have the size.
Yeah.
They don't have the rebounding. That's the difference in why I wouldn't take them here as an upset. But again, it's March. Anything can happen. It could all look wrong.
This is one of those games that I think will look close in the first half between McNeese and Clemson, and then that second half burst from
Clemson pulls away.
They're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, I agree. This is the game I really wanted to talk about in this region. I feel like everyone does too. It's Purdue High Point.
Yep.
This is one of those games that, High Point has one of those Mickey Mouse schedules. But man, Purdue looks.
Give me High Point.
Give me High Point. I think
Purdue looks beatable.
because this is a really good matchup for High Point. I think Purdue in this situation, it's shaky. I mean,
they can't guard the interior without Zach Edey.
Without Zach Edey, they haven't.
Yes, but I think Purdue, if you look at these highlights right now on the screen, the way that Purdue plays and High Point plays, if we play High Point next, great. If we don't, that's fine. I'll just tell you. Purdue passes the ball a lot more than High Point does. The biggest difference, these two teams actually are really similar. One team not playing well. That's the team with the better players in Purdue. However, High Point, they are the lowest assist per possession in the entire NCAA. Below 50%, near, I think, 44.
And despite that, they've won 14 in a row.
But
you also said that rebounds are the difference maker.
Right.
And they rebound more
but
and they score more.
if you miss shots and you are having people take isolation possessions like High Point does,
doesn't matter how many rebounds you get.
Yes.
You gotta move the ball.
You need to, yes.
That's true.
Passes to easy buckets are how you win games, and Purdue also has the better
Purdue.
players. I I think it's the safe pick. I think it goes either way. I do think it's a coin
I like
flip.
High Point.
I do.
It's going to be a great game.
I don't care.
regardless.
Before we move on to this next game, I do want to say that at our last pitch meeting, I did show all of our talent, the High Point campus. And
It's
I think
insane.
They
Beautiful.
I think everybody wants to transfer after that.
Look it up.
Moving on, we're going to go UCLA versus Utah State, a 10-7. 10-7s are a dangerous matchup for both teams.
Yeah.
Because especially for a UCLA team that's been streaky at times this season, has played really, really good ball, and then really fallen off a cliff. Against a Utah State team from the Mountain West, has a couple competitors in the conference that look really good. Utah State's resume doesn't wow me like some other Mountain West teams do, but I want to hear what you guys have to think.
You know, I think, especially what you said about UCLA, I think it's kind of what we talked about with Oregon, too, is the fact that, like, they can be a good team, but you don't know which team's showing up.
Right.
They're very inconsistent. And so that's why I want to take UCLA, I really do, because as you said, Utah State's resume doesn't stand out to me. It's nothing special, but the 7-10 matchup's always...
It's a coin flip.
It's a coin flip.
The way that Utah State wins games is harder to pull off.
I agree.
Utah State has to hit their threes. If they don't, they're going to lose.
Yep.
Much smaller. UCLA is one of the biggest teams in the entire
And those big
tournament.
players are good. They have
And
good big players.
their two best players are their big players.
Yeah.
They have a 4 who shoots 40% from 3 and does his best work inside the perimeter.
Oh,
UCLA plays really consistently. They play slow. They rebound the basketball. It is perfect for them to take down a team like Utah State, who doesn't hit the 3 as well as some other teams. You all have to hit the 3 if you're in the Big West.
Yeah. I got to say, though, we're going to head one more matchup here. We're going to go Tennessee-Wofford here at the bottom of the screen. I like Tennessee. I really like Tennessee.
Their defense is unreal.
You gotta you gotta tell me that you got a fun fact about Wofford that's making me want to believe.
Really?
So Kyler Filewich on Wofford shoots his free throws granny style. He started doing it this season because his free throw percentage has been going down and down and down.
Do you know what his free throw percentage was?
I think it was in the 40%.
That's not good. It's not.
He's gotten it back up because he's taking notes from Running Point on Netflix and he's shooting granny style free throws. I love that. That said, it's Tennessee.
Yeah. The granny style free throws are not saving him.
In the SoCon championship game, they made this comeback in the final minute here, but Furman, they looked so much better. And if this wasn't this level of competition, I don't think Wofford could pull this off. They looked really sluggish down the stretch. Furman had their way, and then I think Wofford got lucky. The other thing here is that Chaz Lanier and Tennessee, Chaz Lanier has been hitting threes left and right. This is the best Tennessee's looked all year.
Yeah.
They're coming out of the SEC. They're playing Wofford. It should be fun to watch for maybe a couple minutes. But
watch the granny style free throw.
I want to see like 4 straight granny styles, and then
and all of them miss.
Yeah,
all of them miss.
I'm not like maybe like 50%. And then Tennessee's just gonna run away with it.
Yeah. I think Tennessee, I have them as a pretty solid lock for the Sweet 16, honestly.
I'd take UCLA over Tennessee.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Really? That's our first really hot.
Because
very
Tennessee does not. Tennessee's a strong rebounding team, and they are strong on defense. They play slow. Who is better than them at that? UCLA. Those are all of their strengths. UCLA doesn't shoot many threes. Tennessee does.
Evan, I gotta cut you off.
That'd be the difference maker.
I love the hot take. No, you mentioned Wofford getting lucky at that and in their conference championship game. Sometimes in March, all you need is a little bit of luck.
That's absolutely right.
It's not who's the best team before March. It's who's the best team in March.
Shamrock.
All right, we're going to be heading back here in a little bit. But before we do, you didn't think that we'd leave out the women, did you? Cam is going to come with me to the Triple, where we'll be joining Samantha Bowen to talk about the new landscape of women's college basketball in March. Sam?
Thanks, Noah. I am so excited to talk about women's basketball, and I know you all are too. So, yes, we're going to miss Caitlin Clark this season. Let's be honest. She is a female woman figure in women's basketball, but we've got some new great players that she paved the path for. Let's start. Who do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about my goat with the bun, Juju Watkins.
Your
Let's
goat with
talk
the
about
bun.
her. She's the goat, bro.
With the bun?
Yeah, she got the.
Is she the goat without the bun?
She's a goat, period.
I mean, like, if you got kids in the stands with headbands with buns on, I feel free to say you made an impact.
She's absolutely made an impact as a freshman. Let's talk about
She's a sophomore, actually.
Well, starting as her freshman year, she did make an impact.
She made a huge impact. But that just goes to show how in just like, I would even say 1.5 years, she's made a meteoric rise to be not the new face, but one of the new faces of collegiate basketball.
Exactly.
Men and women. She's got insane brand deals. She's just so good too, and she's got so many years left to play.
We're seeing new stars rise, and I think that's the main point of it all, is like women's March Madness is definitely rising because of these players, period.
And I think a lot of people have been like, oh, the golden age of women's collegiate basketball is over now that Caitlin Clark is gone. Paige Beckers is leaving. I don't think that's true. And honestly, I just feel like because the women's game, you have these big names that are coming in there, and they're so great, these personalities. I think I'll put $5 on it right now. I think the women's final is going to have more views than the men's final, just because yes, I think so, especially if it's UConn in the final. I think that these players have created an aura about college basketball for women specifically, and then it transferred into the WNBA. Last season, it was just so good. I think this season is going to be the exact
Especially with Paige in the finals.
Exactly.
I think she brings a lot of attention to women's basketball following these Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. I think, the question is, will she continue after this year or will she stop after this year? I think it depends on the views as well and what the people want.
Yeah. I love me some Juju Watkins. I love me some Paige Beckers, and I love what women's college basketball is up to right now. I love the hype everybody's getting, and I especially love as you can see on the triple monitor here, I love my Fighting Irish. They're my pick to go all the way, I think.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
I believe in Dawn Staley.
I don't know. I love Lauren Betts. I think she's a phenomenal player.
So
she's great at rebounds. She's great at defense. She's great at scoring. I would love to see her go all the way with UCLA.
You know who's great at something? Paige Beckers. Great at TikTok.
Oh, great at TikTok. Great at the media. No media training at all. Doesn't matter. She's great at it.
Yeah, she is.
Hilarious.
Well, all right, we're going to move on, though. My rhyming named colleagues, Sam and Cam, thank you very much. We're headed to a short commercial break, but when we return, we'll head down south, and our field team got to talk about March Madness with our very own Emerson College student body. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Box Score March Madness Special. We've got a classic going on in the first four. St. Francis of Pennsylvania has the ball, 1 shot left, 68 apiece. We're going to give you an update as soon as we hear about that. But first, we're going to go down south. Evan, Cam, Sam, and Everest. I want to talk about this Louisville-Creighton matchup because this is one of those real coin flip games.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Louisville, I think, like I said earlier, if you were watching, one of the most underseeded teams here. They could be a 3 seed.
Yeah.
Great story, too.
Yeah.
They're so improved.
They have great rebounds, in my opinion.
Couple of things here. Louisville is going to be playing pretty much a de facto home game. This game's at Rupp Arena in Lexington. It's about an hour away from Louisville.
That matters.
Yep. Yeah. That's huge. Creighton is also playing the best they have right now all season. They're taller. They rebound better. Both
from
teams,
the three-point line.
Yes, and both teams don't shoot the ball very well. Both teams take care of the ball pretty well. Neither team turns the ball over they don't grab the ball away. It's going to be tough. I'm sticking with my initial pick and going with Creighton, but if Louisville wins, Auburn is going to need to watch out because that is going to be raucous.
I agree.
The Lexington crowd does not like Auburn. No. They will, and they don't like Louisville either. But that's in Kentucky, baby. They're going to be going down, and it doesn't matter if it's Big Blue or not.
I worry about that Auburn Louisville
Yeah.
potential.
I trust Creighton in big spots early in these tournaments, though. They've been so consistent throughout the past couple of years. It seems like they're always in the Sweet 16. Yes. Although this will be close, I'm rocking with them.
This could be like this game that we're talking about right now with these live score updates. This could definitely be an overtime final shot type of game.
Absolutely.
We're going to move on, though. This is one of my favorite matchups of the entire tournament. We're going Michigan, UC San Diego. Personally, I'm going to speak on my personal anecdote.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I got UC San Diego in the Sweet 16.
I do too.
You do as well?
I do.
Oh, tell me why.
Well, because I don't think that Texas A&M wins. We'll get to that.
Okay.
I think that they're better than Yale, and I think they're better than Michigan. Michigan's playing really well right now, but they're painstakingly average in pretty much every category, and UC San Diego's got the longest win streak in all of college basketball.
Yeah, and they're fun to watch. If you've seen any of their games, they're fun
to watch. Fun team. Michigan is inconsistent, but if they can find that inconsistency quick, if they can find it quick, I can see them getting a little bit further.
Yeah.
But
their twin towers, Golden and Wolf.
That's what I was about to say. That's what I worry about in matching up with UC San Diego is the size difference.
I'm going to take Michigan because I think they're going to be focused on the turnovers, which are their biggest weakness. If they take care of the ball, I think they win because I think they are a little bit more talented, but I totally get the UC San Diego.
Yeah.
It's one of those games where you don't know, but either way you can justify for whatever outcome. Me personally, I just have Michigan because they have the height. And I feel like they're just a little bit hotter. They have more fire.
They were clutch in that Big Ten tourney. I don't know.
Yeah. Is the skill going to outweigh the worst problem and the worst flaw that this team has? Michigan's the second most turnovers in all of the tournaments.
I'll let you get this out before we move on to this game.
UC San Diego doesn't turn the ball over. They shoot it really well. They play strong defense.
Yes.
It's a tough match.
I agree. We're going to head down a little further here. Obviously, I know everyone wants to talk Texas A&M and Yale, wants to talk Ole Miss, SDSU, or UNC. But we're going to talk a little bit of an outlier here. Iowa State versus Lipscomb. think that this has potential of actually being a very pretty good game.
Lipscomb.
Right.
Lipscomb?
Really?
Lipscomb. Yes.
Lipscomb.
Iowa
You're
State.
taking Lipscomb?
Yes.
I have Iowa.
Yes.
I
You're
think
not
Iowa has
taking
a
Lipscomb.
strong
I'm
defense.
I'm standing my ground on Iowa State. I think they get past this round.
I think so too. At
Although
least this
the injuries are a concern for Iowa State. They're not super healthy.
Okay, but I really want to talk about this Lipscomb pick. The fact that half of you are taking Lipscomb up against Iowa State here is really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Why?
Well, Jacob Ognisevich has 20 points per game. He's a forward, and Iowa State, although they do have a strong defense, they are efficient, 19th in efficiency, and offensively speaking, but they don't really have the matchups, I think, to guard the best players on Lipscomb, which is really weird to say about a 14 seed. The other thing is, I just think Lipscomb's another one of those teams that shoots the ball well. They're not. Their biggest weakness is rebounding. I want to be absolutely clear. Iowa State out-rebounds them, they win the game. But
which Iowa State has out-rebounding.
Yes.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
listen,
right.
I want to get this final game in. We're going to have a million hours to talk about this once it happens. But I really, before we end up going to our next segment, Marquette, New Mexico. Marquette's one of those teams, they're always in the tourney. New Mexico looking to get their first tourney win in years. I'm interested in this 10-7.
I like New Mexico.
Me too.
I do as well.
I like New Mexico.
I think
you disagree, Sam?
I don't know. I like New Mexico, but I just think like Marquette's just got a little bit of the better skill set, in my opinion. They've got better passing.
Marquette is the more talented team on paper.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I think
But when we're
the
in March
rim
Madness,
pressure-
that's what you have to think about is like that skill quality when it comes down to certain things.
They're also the second worst rebounding team in the entire tournament.
Exactly.
And New Mexico's gonna put rim pressure on them.
Yes.
They're
Right.
gonna win the energy battle. I think they're gonna.
It's hard to bet against Shaka Khan though.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
That's
but
true.
if you did it last year, you would have been happy.
I will say, up until like 30 minutes ago, I had Marquette, and I only just switched.
You
because
switched?
I think they're
Come
like.
over, Cam. Yeah.
I'm not gonna walk all the way over there. Maybe like
not that far.
spiritually,
Okay.
but I feel like they have a little bit. They're a little scrappier. They're a little more fire, and I like that in a team. I pick March Madness off of like vibes a lot, and I think they have.
And a lot of the time, the vibes are a great indicator.
Right.
All right.
Because they're fighting to win.
Exactly.
They're scrappy. They want to win. They're like, I'm the underdog. I want to make my way up there. And
They have nothing to lose.
Yeah,
also.
exactly.
Yeah, I love it. All right, listen. We don't just have fun in studio, though. We've got plenty of fun interacting with our Emerson community. You know who else went and interacted with our Emerson community? You know who else?
Was it Rico Brill and River?
It was River Caraballo and Rico Brill talking to Emerson students about what we're talking about right now, March Madness. They were out in the field. Rico and River, what do you have for us?
Hi, I'm Caraballo.
And I'm Rico Brill. We're here at Emerson College, and we're going to see what Emerson students have to say about March Madness.
Let's get started.
Do you like March Madness? Are you planning on watching? Do you know what it is?
I know what it is. I'm not watching. I did bet money on it.
Yeah, hell yeah, got to.
What team are you supporting?
Man, I'm an LA guy, so I got to go USC. I'm not sure if they'll have much of a chance this year, but hey, if they get into the dance, anything can happen, you know.
What is March Madness?
It's the greatest college basketball tournament ever to exist. Duh.
Wow, woo! You said you will be watching March Madness, but if you were not, what would you be watching instead?
I'm a big soccer guy, so I always watch the Premier League.
Maybe just some TV shows or movies.
Anything else? I'll probably go see some movies at AMC.
Ooh, definitely the latest season of Love is Blind. And not Bruins hockey.
Severance season 2.
Wrestling NCAA championships. Penn State is probably winning this year, 2025 national champions.
Probably the NBA. I'm big in the NBA, so I'd still be watching basketball just professionally.
If Emerson was in the tournament, would you be watching?
I mean, I'd be watching. I saw what happened against Yale, and they're not going to be in the tournament, and it was rough for Emerson.
Oh, of course. What? I got to represent. I support my school. I know people on the team, men's and women's, so like I got to support.
Oh my goodness. I guess. I mean, yeah, I've been to some Emerson basketball games, so I'd definitely be watching if they were in it.
Low-key, yeah, but I just found out what it was today, so... Last year, the women's final had more viewership than the men's final. Do you think that's going to happen again this year?
I would like to see it. Of course, they have a lot of like stars that's going to come out with Paige and Juju, and just I feel like the women's talent needs to get like more viewership. I would like to see it, but I think so because the men's is slight, but like women's, especially from last season, I definitely could see it.
I think a lot of people were watching for Caitlin Clark, and now that she's gone, I don't know if as many people will be watching.
I hope it does. I think that'd be awesome, just in general, to watch women's sports just flourish and continue to grow. I think that'd be amazing.
I think not, because Caitlin Clark is not a member of college basketball anymore. But I hope they still get a solid amount of viewership.
It should. If it doesn't, I'll be disappointed.
I think there's a good chance it can, depending on the teams that go there. Obviously, Juju Watkins has been incredible for SC. She's been driving a lot of viewers, I'm sure.
100%. With the teams that you have currently, especially with South Carolina, who's just absolutely ballers. They are definitely a star team, and I think that they can easily win it all.
Do you have a favorite college basketball or March Madness memory?
Ooh. Anytime Duke loses is my favorite memory.
Agreed.
I watched Villanova win, I think, a championship several years back, and we had one of my high school alums was on that team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Eric Pascal.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Went to the NBA.
Thanks so much, you guys. Back to you in the studio.
River, Rico, thank you so much. Before we go to commercial, we've got some breaking news. Alabama State with a crazy layup, 70-68 win. Alabama State moving on to the big dance. I mean, what a crazy ending. I thought St. Francis had the final shot. Alabama ends up having the final shot, but a game winner. We've got breaking news for you right now on the box score. If you're not watching the game, you know what the score is here. But when we come back, we'll be looking at some of our favorite March Madness memories. Stay tuned.
Jeez, that's real super. Had a nitwit like you get so tasteful.
I can't believe Lance prefers Brad's commercial to mine. Let's see NBS's commercial.
Having writer's block? Try NBS.
All right, everyone, put those scripts away. We're going up with scene convention canceled in 5.
And action.
It was you all along!
No. I didn't kill the boy.
Cut.
Struggling with delivery? Try NBS.
It was you all along! It wasn't me. I...
Cut. Everybody hold. Lighting. What's going on?
Need to learn a new crew position? Try NBS.
It was you all along! It wasn't me, okay? I didn't kill the boy. I promise.
Look at the subtle promotions. Tasteful cuts. Oh my gosh. It even fades to black.
Are you okay there, Zach?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cut.
The way I patted the stage, I really felt like I was
I gotta say, we just reacted to that Alabama State game winner. What an electric way to start March Madness. It doesn't get more mad than that. Full court heave, rugby scrum on the floor. granny style toss into the air for the game winner. Alabama State, take a bow because you know they're gonna be dancing and they're gonna be partying with some champagne tonight. But from down south, we're swinging it to the wild West. Evan, we're gonna start with the 8-9 matchup between UConn and Oklahoma. Two-time defending champs are on the ropes.
Yes.
Who do you have winning?
UConn.
You have UConn?
UConn. They shoot free throws
Absolutely.
well.
Yep.
They rebound better. They're bigger. They're more talented. They have more depth. Oklahoma struggled, especially in close games. They win this game. That's how.
I think it's pretty straightforward. One thing I will say is having potential 1 seed in Florida and the back-to-back defending champs in the second round is nuts.
And
I'm
they
not
match
saying
up well with
they match up
Florida.
really well. Hey, I'm not saying it's going to happen again. I'm just going to say this real quick stat. Since 2000, only 7 times has a non-1 seed won the tournament. UConn's been 4 of those. So it's almost always it's either a 1 seed or UConn. It's either 1 seed or UConn.
If you're Florida right now, you are terrified.
Terrified.
Yeah. You could play UConn. You eventually could play Maryland. Like having to play. By the way, Norfolk State, one of the best 16 seeds we've had in a couple of years now. I'm scared for Florida, despite the fact that they're playing their best basketball of the year so far.
This is a gauntlet.
This is
like the region of death.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think this is the hardest side to get out of.
I completely agree.
I think you could very easily see the team that gets out of here win it all. I think it's very easy.
Yes.
And I don't think at the end of the day, call me crazy, could be UConn.
It could.
I agree.
It could. I agree with
Overall,
you.
just a talented team. And I think that with everyone being well-rounded and talented, that's what's going to take
And you know what?
away.
As much as everyone hates Dan Hurley, the guy's damn good.
He knows what he's doing.
I think they have the sort of same positioning as like Gonzaga I was talking about. They want they got something more to prove. They got more fire. I think that's what's going to elevate them over.
Yeah,
I agree.
UConn and Gonzaga, very comparable teams in this tournament.
We could very easily see the Big East run this. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying.
Don't hate that.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't hate that.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Good take.
Here's a game that I don't think is gonna have as many eyes as it deserves. Is Memphis, Colorado State?
This is my favorite game of the first round.
I was about to say this is one of my favorite games. I think this will go down to the wire.
Yes.
Memphis plays great basketball.
Yep.
Colorado State plays great basketball. Absolutely underseeded.
Yep.
I think this
Very
is a really,
underseeded.
really good game.
Yeah.
Colorado State plays team ball, but Memphis has 2 great players.
And one of them is their coach.
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway.
Yeah.
But there is a 1-2 punch that this Memphis team plays with that is very Kobe Shaq.
Yeah.
And their starting guard, who happens to score 20 points per game, reminds me a lot of Johnny Juzang. This team actually reminds me a lot of the UCLA team that went all the way to the Final Four. I don't think they get that far. I do think they're more talented than Colorado State. Memphis does not like to run a lot of structured plays. Colorado State does. That being said, their numbers are so similar that despite playing differently, their outputs are the same. I think it's a coin toss. I go Memphis. They have the better players. If it comes down to a last shot, Memphis wins it. If both teams are missing, look for Colorado State
I have to
take
agree.
it.
I think what the word I would say is they're an explosive defense.
Yes.
Once they get that ball, they're right
a great
down.
way to describe it.
That's exactly how they're an explosive offense. They get that ball, they go right for it, and they're just like, get that ball in the net. And that's what matters at the end of the day, no matter what.
And being aggressive in March is a great quality to have.
Of course.
Yeah, that brings the madness.
And fun fact, you mentioned PJ Haggerty.
Yes.
He's had 3 games this season where he's had 20 before half. He's the 3rd best scorer in the country.
And he's
This
not
is-
their best player.
He's not even their best player.
Because
That's
their
the crazy
power
part.
forward,
Hey, by the way,
Dangy, 6'7", 270, he can run the
When
floor.
Haggerty,
It's crazy.
When Haggerty scores 20 or more points in a game, they've got a bad record. It's not.
Which is actually
it's
really-
not,
yeah.
It's not even below 500, just below 500. It is far below.
Yeah,
500.
that's
if
true,
they have to
though.
rely on
That is
PJ
true.
Haggerty,
It's not
It's
looking
gotta
good.
be
Colorado
they have
State.
to pass. It's got to be a team game.
That's true.
All right, I want to move on to this Maryland Grand Canyon game. Maryland is undeniably one of the best teams in this tournament.
Undeniably.
Despite being the 4 seed.
4 seed is
Absolutely.
ridiculous.
They're going to the Final Four. They're going to the Final Four.
Oh.
And you know what?
This
I
is
don't
my-
hate it.
No,
I don't hate
because
that.
you know why? They are the unluckiest team. That means nothing in March. That means nothing in March. I think they are underseeded. They have lost most of their games by 1 possession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
They're
poor
clamping.
Michigan game, that poor
God, I
everything game.
think
I think they lost those
actually,
4 games by a combined like 7 points or
7
something
points.
like that.
And
Yeah.
I think they lose in the Big Ten tournament. tournament, I think that was a stab in the heart. I think now they're clamping down on their weakness, which I think was defense, especially explosive defense. And I think because they have so much to prove and they're an incredibly skilled team, they're going to go far, and I have them in the Final Four as my pick.
I love Maryland to go far, but I just don't think you can ever really rule out GCU.
And I picked GCU.
Yep. Your beef with, I'm letting you know now, your beef with Trent will continue.
Trent? Oh, I don't have beef with Trent. I love Trent. I thought that was hilarious. Trent, you're the man. I'm saying this to you now. Trent Walter, the best. Anyway.
He's a Maryland alum. You're going to go against him.
Trent, I actually love Maryland. I think they're really good, and I think they got terrible luck that they had to be put as a 4 seed right in this side of the bracket. They don't deserve it.
And even last year, too.
Because GCU shoots the ball really well, and they're one of the best teams at getting takeaways. Maryland is pretty good at it. Maryland's inefficient.
And Maryland has absolutely no depth.
No.
None at all.
No depth.
And Maryland's got a great trio of guards. So does GCU.
GCU will capitalize on any mistake that Maryland
and they hit their threes, and
They're
Maryland
gonna
doesn't.
You drop a ball, you turn over, GCU is going right for it.
Absolutely the fact that they make too many mistakes, much
mistakes.
like Michigan.
Yes.
And that's why
And
I
they're
kind
intense.
of and I kind of see, because I don't know if you remember this, last year I picked GCU to go and beat St. Mary's in the same fashion, and we said the same exact talking points between St. Mary's and with Maryland about the fact that being slow, GCU's turnovers. So hey,
Maryland can run the floor though.
They can run the floor. That is a big difference. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. But I can never rule out GCU.
It's going to be a great game. Right, we're gonna move on though. Mizzou Drake. Obviously, Drake is your. What'd you say about them again?
I said cupcake, headache, Kevin Durant hairline fake, Bulldogs in 5.
Bulldogs in 5. And I agree with you. I think Drake takes this one. I just don't think. I think Mizzou was one of the rare teams in this tournament that was overseeded. I don't love Mizzou.
I don't either.
Sam, what do you got?
I don't know. This side, we're opponents here. I just think they're fast-paced and they're intense, and I think they could pull it out this March Madness
You're big on
season.
intensity in a team.
Oh, I'm absolutely about the intensity. I think, you can play your entire season, but when it comes down to March Madness, that is when teams pull out something that you've never seen before. That's when you see the scrap. That's when you see the intensity. That's when you see some of the players bring out those threes that they haven't seen all season. They come out defensively, offensively. It really depends on who you're playing and what type of day that team is having.
What I'm going to give back at you on that one is I think Mizzou is going to see Bennett Stirs.
I don't think it matters.
You don't think so? I'm big on the Bennett Stirs train.
Missouri is #1 in all of the NCAA in free throw percentages per possession. 40% of the time they have the ball, they go to the free throw line, and they hit them. And
that's unbelievable.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, if you come with the stats, I'll come with the facts.
You're going to come right. They play fast, and Drake's slow. And if
but
Drake's
they're a
fouling,
gritty team is the thing,
but
and they
that
don't.
means gritty also means fouls. And if
Gritty
you're getting
also
outsped,
means,
you're going to foul.
What Sam said, Mizzou's also going to be a gritty team come March. I just think regardless, it's going to be a great game.
I agree.
And I just.
Yes.
It's going to come down who's going to play better ball strategically. They're both scrappy. You can count on the turnovers, you can count on the fouls, but whoever's going to play a strategic basketball game, that's what's
I'll say. I gotta leave it with that though. I gotta leave it with that.
I have so much to say about
Listen, you know what? There's a group chat for that. That's our bracket. Let's take a blast from the past now as our talent relive their favorite March memories of their relatively short lives up to this point. Everest, come get us started.
Thank you, Noah. I want to take us on a stroll down memory lane to Villanova, North Carolina, 2016, a memory that is probably a lot of people's favorite around our age. I was 11 years old, and I stayed up till midnight to watch this game. My parents said I had to go to bed at halftime. Sorry, my dad's watching this right now. Sorry, Dad. Anyway, Chris Jenkins, game winner. It's unbelievable. It's one of the first times that I saw a game winner of this magnitude. Buzzer beater, national championship. The call is electric. Archidiacono gives it to Jenkins for the championship. Villanova! Phenomenal! Phenomenal! The national champion.
By the way, I've had to listen to.
And before we move on, the underrated part of this moment is right before Marcus Page on North Carolina hit an unbelievable circus shot to tie.
I mean, the most unfortunate moment in college basketball history. I mean, literally hits what should have been the shot of his life.
Yes.
Should have been.
And then Archer Diacono drives it down, takes it to Chris Jenkins, and it's smashed.
The one non-NBA player in this picture.
Right, and he drills it, and the confetti pops immediately, and Jay Wright yells bang before the shot even goes in. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's absolute college basketball cinema. It's like the Martin Scorsese meme, absolute cinema.
Oh yeah,
absolute cinema.
Absolute cinema.
All right,
unbelievable.
you have your own memory.
Mom, Dad, it's time for Aaron Harrison versus Wisconsin versus Michigan versus Wichita State. This is the point where he always hits it, and he does. Aaron Harrison, beyond belief, as the 8-seeded Kentucky goes all the way to play the 7-seeded UConn. Shabazz Napier, UConn wins, I don't care. This was incredible
It was
because
a moment for you.
this was one of the Kentucky teams that is always going to be remembered.
I mean, what a moment.
It's a blue blood, and they had blue blood players. They had James Young, and they had Julius Randle. Rounding out the best players on this team, you had a guy who would not play for more than maybe a game in the NBA, and Aaron Harrison, who only made it and did this. This kid was a college basketball player, and that was just an all-time moment, an all-time call. Jim Nance.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're
Aaron
missed.
Harrison.
You're missed.
Aaron Harrison, the twin?
Yes, with Andrew Harrison.
That's
Yep.
right. I wanted to make sure I got it right.
Yep.
Imagine being a twin in that scenario. Do you think you get jealous just a little bit?
No. We're going to the national championship. I'm fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
I'll
enough.
take that.
Yeah, that's fair.
That kind of
enough.
cancels
that's very
it out.
fair.
It's like a gift.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was one of the few times that Kentucky was actually a Cinderella, which doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Right. Nandan, round us out. What's your favorite memory?
Yeah, well, I'll say this, Noah. I'm pretty new to March Madness. I'll say this. It was I think the first year that I really started watching was 2023, that tournament. Okay. And that's where I'm taking us right now. I'm taking us to FDU, believe it.
Yeah.
The second ever.
Are you appealing to me because I'm from Jersey?
It's a
Nobody in Jersey
It's a
even knows
commuter
that's a school.
Huh?
Nobody in Jersey even knew it was.
Nobody knew it was from Jersey.
No.
But yeah, this is one of those games where I was new to March Madness. I was like, let's see what's out there, and
Bang.
I made a bet. Yeah, I made a bet with my friend. I'm like, hey, I think FDU beats Purdue, and they're like, you know what, Nandan, you're crazy. So you want to bet on it? I'm like, yeah, we will. And then
would you put on $50?
I put $50 on it.
He was $50 richer.
I was
Your
$50
friend must have
richer
thought
that
you were
day.
an idiot.
Oh yeah, he did. I mean, we see who's the idiot now, though. I mean, hey, come on.
Probably still you for putting $50 on FDU.
Hey, I'm $50 richer. I don't care, man.
You must have said some crazy stuff to Sister Jean to make that happen. I know that this wasn't Sister Jean's team, but you said some extra prayers that night.
No, but I think that was just a really great moment. That was really my introduction to March Madness, and I think
very fun.
how else? I can't think of a better way.
Incredible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Box Score March Madness Special. Follow us on Instagram at EIV Box Score to keep up with talent reactions to all the wild endings this month. I'm your host, Noah Berkowitz. Good night.
Yeah.